What's up, guys? No applause necessary this time. You are tuned in to episode 5 of the Black Dad Chronicles, and I am your host, Courtney McIntosh. Let's get into episode 5. Today, I will be talking about one of the things I love most, rap music. Yes, rap music. Gonna go through my history with rap music. I am not a rapper, disclaimer. Anybody who knows me knows that I am not a rapper. But I've had a complicated history with rap music. And when I say complicated, is basically the ideologies of rap music. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the guys I listen to who I think that are good. You know, some of the guys who I listen to who I think are bad. Well, if I think they're bad, I don't listen to them. But I'm going to give you my guilty pleasures, which is, you know, an artist or artists who their rap style or their musical choices, you know, go totally against my ideologies and the way I feel about rap music. But I listen to them anyway. A lot of people who listen to this, y'all already gonna know who one of them is. But I got a couple, man. I try not to listen to whack rap music. And if you grew up in the era that I grew up in the 90s, which is the golden era, you know what I'm saying? Tim's and Bubble Goose, shiny suits, all that. You know what kind of rap music I like. You know what I'm saying? So gonna get into this episode 5, but first, before we do that, I'd like to thank our sponsor for today. I said our, like, you know, it's more than one of me. My sponsor for today, Cake Couture Sweets. So if you're looking for cakes, cupcakes, cookies, any kind of desserts, get in contact with Cake Couture. Now, it's my homegirl, Shania. I've known her since high school. I bake. You know, I consider myself a very good baker. I even took time out and went to culinary school for it. Even though that doesn't... going to culinary school does not mean anything except for you just sat through some classes, you know, did the hands-on stuff, and boom, got your degree. You graded well, you did well enough to get your degree. But no, I literally, food is my life, you know. Food is my life. But listen here, I cannot bake like this young lady. You know, over there at Cake Couture, they are doing amazing things from their cakes you can call and get stuff for weddings. You can get corporate, holidays, just because treats, you know, I know they have specials for Valentine's Day. If you got a family cookout coming up, you know, it's starting to warm up. So picnic season is coming soon. So get some peach cobbler. She makes the bomb peach cobbler, you know, and I've bought her products before. I know my sisters bought her products before. I've eaten plenty of her products before, and it's, you know, hands down, she makes the best. And I have a love-hate relationship with cupcakes. Being a food snob, you know, putting that in quotes, I think cupcakes have taken a wrong turn in society, and especially in food culture. So I try to avoid cupcakes. But man, Cake Couture's cupcakes, boy, they the truth. So if you want to, and you got, you know, you don't have to worry about any hassles. There's not no hood, no ghetto operation. It's 100% professional. And like I said, once again, you got holiday parties, corporate events, weddings, you know, just because, you know, say you want to get your ladies, you know, you want to get your man a cake for his birthday, she'll do it. Fellas, if you want to get your girl some chocolate covered strawberries just because, you know, she can hook you up. Prices are reasonable and it's a quick turnaround time. So if you're interested, go to www.coutured.com. That's COUTURED cakery.com. Telephone number is 313-914-1116. All right, let's get into this episode. So when the show first started, you heard Southern Player Looks at Cadillac music playing in the background. I don't know if you did, but I had it playing in the background. And I don't, I try not to put music on the podcast just because of copyright things, but I just so happen to be listening to it on my phone, and I hit record. So hey, it snuck in the show. But let's get into rap. So the reason why you heard that song is because I was just listening to a playlist on Apple Music. Man, since I got this iPhone, my favorite thing about it, hands down, has been the battery life and Apple Music. I am a subscriber to Google Play Music, but ever since I got this iPhone, I've used Play Music probably like maybe twice, because Apple Music is so smooth. It doesn't drain the battery, and I can find almost anything on there. And I say almost because, a lot of people might not know, but the GOAT Jay-Z just took all his stuff off of Apple Music a couple days ago. So that's neither here nor there. So the reason why you heard that song playing, though, I love Outkast. I am from Detroit, and growing up, it wasn't that many Detroit rappers that was, doing it really big. I'm talking about when I first started listening to rap. I was probably like 12 years old. You watch The Box. You know what I'm saying? MTV was still showing music videos. You had BET. So we used to just keep it tuned into The Box all the time, man. So me and my brother and my sister, we would even, try to sneak and call and request videos, and never knew if our videos was getting played or not. But man, I've loved rap music since I was about 12 years old. So that would put it at 1993, and it was all East Coast everything for me. It was all East Coast everything, man. Everybody with the Timbs, you know what I'm saying? The thug look, you know what I'm saying? Timbs, hoodies, bubble vests, all of that. I just, and the music was grimy. It was just amazing to me, to hear stuff like that, man. So the difference with Outkast is it was a point in time where I only listened to East Coast rap. And that's it. I try listening to some Midwest stuff. Bone Thugs and Harmony was bumping. You had Crucial Conflict. MC Breed, rest in peace. But I mainly just stayed to the East Coast until I heard Outkast. And Outkast, for the longest time, was the only Southern rappers I listened to. The only Southern rappers that I listened to. So that's why you hear Southern Cadillac playalistic music, playing when I first started the podcast, because, hey, that's one of my top 3 songs of all time. I'm going to start off the bat, on the podcast, giving y'all my top 3 favorite songs of all time, because they in my head. So I just gave you one, Outkast, Southern playalistic Cadillac music. My second favorite song of all time is Summertime by Will Smith. Man, that song just gives me, I don't know what y'all saying, Will Smith, man, blah, blah, blah. But hey, man, that song just, whenever that song comes on, especially when it starts to get warm out, it just gives me a good feeling. It just, it sets my day up. I just know my day is going to go good. It just gives me a chance to ride with the windows down. My kids could listen to it, So Summertime by Will Smith is, my second favorite song of all time. I know all the lyrics to it. And like, Southern playalistic Cadillac music, the song, not the album, but the song, I know, all the words to that song. And I also think that's the way Andre starts his verse out is probably the best beginning to a rap verse in history. Time to drop these bows like Dusty Rhodes. I love wrestling, I love rap. So anyway, then you got my third favorite song of all time is Triumph by the Wu-Tang Clan. And I will go on record right now as saying Triumph is the greatest posse cut of all time. And when I say posse cut, I mean, a song with 3 or more rappers on it. In this case for Triumph, it was all 9 of them, including Capadonna. It's the greatest posse cut of all time. It's better than Buddy. It's better than Scenario. And I love both of those songs, but when you hear Posse Cuts, you know, the first two songs that you really hear as the best Posse Cuts of all time are like, you know, Buddy by De La Soul and Friends, and then Scenario by Tribe Called Quest, and, you know, Leaders of the New School. And I can't believe, man, it's April and I still ain't listened to that new Tribe album. So that's going to have to change this week because I heard it's dope. But it's also, I think it's also better than Money, Power, and Respect. That's another Posse cut that's dope, you know. And All About the Benjamins. Look at, man, Puffy and them got two of them up there that could be considered the best Posse cuts of all time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I just gave you all my top 5 Posse cuts of all time too. So, you know, but so I have a love-hate relationship with rap too. Because, you know, you get to a certain age where, you know, when I was in high school and stuff, you know, early 20s, I was listening to rap. And especially when I was in high school, you know, young, impressionable, you know, and you could really believe that these guys were really talking about, you know, they were doing the things that they were talking about. Like, you know, if you listen to Mobb Deep, you really thought, you know, Havoc and Prodigy was beating people up every day of the week, you know, because that's what they rapped about, you know. The way Biggie told stories, it's like he just made it so real. It's like you were listening to a movie. So but once I got a certain age, and once you realize that a lot of the rappers out there don't live what they talking about in their lyrics, you know, it kind of lost that, you know, that that, you know, kind of like that feeling it gave me, you know. So it was weird because, you know, like when T.I.'s first album came out, you know, it was still at a point where I really wasn't, you know, really listening to Southern rap music. You know, I had added Ludacris onto the Southern rappers that I listened to, so it was like Outkast, Goody Mob, Ludacris, and that was really it. So when T.I. first came out, I was like, oh man, you know, I like Tip because he could rap, and he almost sounded like you know, he had a little bit of, I don't want to say he had a little bit of New York flow, but he could rap the way a lot of Southern rhymers, you know, didn't rap back then. So, but then, you know, you look at all the things that T.I. is going through, and then he comes out, he goes on, he gets a TV show with his family, you know, his wife and kids, and then his next album comes out, and he's still rapping like, you know, trapping and shooting niggas and all that, and it's kind of like, you get to a point where it's like, come on, bro, you on TV. You know, you got money, fresh out of jail, you know what I'm saying? And you still rapping about the same thing. I don't get it. You know, so it was like, once you could kind of, for me, once I saw guys, you know, living differently, then, and they weren't living their rhymes out. And, you know, and look, that's not a bad thing, because we don't need, you know, a bunch of cats just shooting up, you know, slanging drugs, banging and all that. That all that is counterproductive. So I was kind of glad that these guys wasn't, you know, doing the stuff that they were doing in their rhymes, but it also kind of took away that authenticity for me. And it wasn't everybody. Take Eminem, for instance. You know, I'm from Detroit. Eminem is in my top 5 greatest MCs. Not favorite, but top 5 greatest. And some of the stuff he wrote, you know, some of his songs, a lot of his songs, man, you know, I couldn't relate to him because he was rapping from the perspective of a white dude who had, you know, grew up in a poor home and had bad situation with his daughter's mother, and, you know, rapped about his drug addiction and all that. And that didn't relate to me. but it had a feeling of realness, and I knew people who could relate to his music, you know. Like I kind of, you know, when Kanye first came out, I kind of felt like I could relate to Kanye West just because he was just like, you know, a regular dude wearing backpacks all the time. And if you see any of my pictures from my deployment, I got on a backpack. I got my collar turned up because we had to wear, you know, collared shirts when we went on deployment, you know. So I was rocking that look, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of like the nerd. And Kanye, now it wasn't nerd rap, but he kind of dressed like, you know, like he wasn't one of the cool kids, kind of like how I dressed, you know, because I wasn't one of the cool kids. So once rap lost that authenticity for me, it was kind of difficult for me to listen to rap and take rap seriously. And it was kind of hard for me to separate it. So I start listening to other stuff, man. So this is where it's going to get, you know, kind of funny, but it's going to get kind of real. So I was still listening to rap, but I just joined the church, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they kind of, I don't want to say frowned upon some things, but they all, you know, all the young guys in the church, you know, listen to Christian rap and all that. And at that point, I had never really paid attention to Christian rap. And from what the stuff I heard, I was like, man, this is garbage, man. Yeah, they rapping for the... And listen, just because somebody is making a song or rapping for the... Or, you know, if it's whack, it's whack. I'm sorry. If it's whack, like if somebody got a whack gospel song, it's whack. Regardless if they, you know, singing for the Lord. If somebody got a whack gospel... And it is some whack gospel rappers out there. Some really whack gospel rappers out there. But, you know what I'm saying? If they can't rap, they can't rap. And it seems like a lot of people, you know, Christian rap got big for a second. So it seemed like a lot of people was jumping in there. And it was kind of like, man. And it's just like, you know, regular hip hop. You had guys rapping who, man, shouldn't have been rapping. Especially if you was a rap fan, you know. Like, growing up, man, one of my probably my favorite rapper was Mace. You know what I'm saying? Me and my homeboy Eric, like, he loved Mace so much, man, he started calling himself Lil Mace. As a matter of fact, his number is saved in my phone under Lil Mace. That's how much Eric loved Mace. And we used to, like, you know, have dreams of being Puffy and Mace. That's what it was, man. But man, when I got on, you know, I'll never forget the day where I first listened to my first, you know, intentionally listened to my first Christian rap song, right? So, you know, like I said, I just joined the church, me, my wife, and my kids. So we were doing bass outreach, you know, me and some of the fellas on the, you know, at the church. We were doing, and they were all, you know, young men. These were all young men around my age, you know, who I felt like, you know, black and white. And, you know, I was like, man, you know, I know y'all listen to rap, you know what I'm saying? So I was, you know, we were on bass, on the base that I was stationed on, which is NAS Mayport. So I'm sorry, not NAS Mayport, NS Mayport, Naval Station Mayport. So, you know, it's a Wednesday night. We cruising. One of the fellas had this big, like, conversion van, so we all could fit in there. You know, I'm sitting in the last row. And, you know, everybody talking about, you know, like, cross movement and stuff like that. I'm like, man, what y'all talking about? You know, like, man, you ain't never listened to gospel rap, bro? I'm like, man, gospel rap? I'm like, man, gospel rap is whack. And, like, at that point, it was like, yo, the brakes screeched on the van. It was like that record scratch. And then everybody was just, like, looking at me. I'm like, yo, what'd I do? Like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. It's some guys who could really, really rap. I'm like, man, please. Like, whatever. So they just put some cross movement on, and the first dude I ever heard was The Truth, you know. So I'm like, all right, man. All right, this dude kind of rap, you know. What else you got? You know, that's one, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else y'all got? Put on some Flame. I was like, okay, this cat can really spit. So then one guy gave me, he was like, look, man, I got this mix here. I'm going to just give it to you, So I was like, all right. So, man, I would probably say that Christian rap changed my life. And when I say changed my life, it made me, well, where I say it changed my life is I feel like it got me, it discipled me, man. Because I was one of those guys who, I went to church growing up, but I wasn't, fully active in the church. Wasn't fully active in the church. Wasn't like, doing really, I just really, at that point in my life, I was just, my wife and I were going to church. But before I even got married, after I stopped playing church basketball when I was like 16, I hardly went to church. And my mom was working on Sundays, my grandfather had passed away. So we just sat in the house, watching cartoons and waiting on, football and stuff to start. So, then I start going to, my neighbor, Miss Brown, who is like, so I didn't have a grandma growing up, but Miss Brown is like the closest thing to a grandmother that I ever had. And man, we used to couldn't stand Miss Brown. We didn't like Miss Brown because she was like one of those, yo, get off my lawn. Like even if we came, man, if our foot even hovered on her grass, she would be like, yo, get off my lawn. So, she always kept our basketballs. If they went over the fence, man, it was just like terrible. Because we had a basketball hoop in the backyard. But, so that the only time I was going to church was I would walk her to church sometimes and I would sit and go, So when I got into the, so I'd never been discipled before. You know what I'm saying? I'd never been taught the ways of, how to be a Christian, what's acceptable behavior, what's not acceptable behavior, how you're supposed to read your Bible, how you're supposed to pray, all that, none of that. So I'd never been taught any of that. So like I said, I'd never been discipled before. And I can honestly say Christian rap kind of discipled me. Now, whether you see that as a good thing or a bad thing, that's different. I don't think it's the best just because, now at 36 years old, I see that I should have had some men in my life that was showing me those ways, and I shouldn't have had to, turn to rap music. But a lot of people turn to rap music for stuff like that, man. A lot of people slang dope because of what they hear in rap music. A lot of people join gangs because of, rap music. A lot of people be out here, getting high and, all that stuff because of rap music. Now you think, like, if you listen to the rap music nowadays, it's like a lot of it, especially the most popular stuff, is all about doing drugs, man. The most popular rapper out right now is Future. And all his music is, drugs. And, I watched the interview with him a couple months ago where he don't even be, doing drugs and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I digress. So, once I started listening to Christian rap on my own, I was like, man, this is really powerful. Like back then, that was what, like 2005, into 2005, 2006. So back then, excuse me, it was a lot of Christian rap was like preachy. Like I started listening to Lecrae back then, and Lecrae back then versus Lecrae right now, his content, while it's still Christ centered, at least I feel it is, it's totally different. It's not preachy. So it's a bunch of different styles in Christian rap. Like a couple rappers rap about real life realities. And they keep it, at the end of the day, everything is focused on Christ. You got, reality rap. I'll say they talk about their struggles, their ups and downs, some of the sins that they deal with, stuff like that. What's going on in popular culture. And that's what they rap about. That's cats like, Lecrae right now, Bizzle, Andy Mineo, and then there's guys like, a Shylin, who is 100% like, you listen to any of Shylin's, Shylin, Timothy Brindle, a lot of guys, and a lot of East Coast guys. Like, if you listen to their music, it's like they are giving you an audio sermon. And a lot of Christian rap was like that when I first started listening to it. And it was just like, I'd be listening to a song, and I'd be like, yo, what verse is that? Rewind it. All right, let me get that verse, and then go to my Bible, read those verses. You know what I'm saying? So it discipled me. I'll be honest, man. So because I didn't have, like I said, I had guys that I could, look, study under or whatnot, but it was more so like the Christian rap. It was like rap is my favorite genre of music. It's the genre that I, always go back to whenever I want to know what's hot, what's going out there. I always go to rap first. But, hey man, that's my story. So, what I'm saying? I just got saved and everything. So I was trying to be super Christian, man. I'll never forget. I took all my CD books and I just threw all my CDs away. I was like, oh, this is the devil's music, man. God don't want me listening to this. And just, I threw away. The only CD I kept was my copy of Illmatic, which is Nas's first album. And it was the original copy. And I still have that copy. I was looking at it on Sunday. I would have put it in, but my kids was in the car. But, yeah, man, that's how, once I started listening, I got into Christian rap. It was like, man, this is the only thing I can listen to. The only thing I can listen to, man. This is what God wants me to listen to. Blah, blah, blah. So like I said, I threw away probably like $2,000 worth of CDs. And then I was like riding in the car with my homeboy Levi one day, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm getting rid of all my CDs, man. I had them in a garbage bag. He was like, dog, let me go through them. Let me get them. I was like, nah, this ain't what God wants us to listen to. But, I let him get some anyway. So, now fast forward a little bit, because I know this is getting long. So fast forward a little bit. I'm like, man, Christian rap is starting to get really boring. So I'm like, yo, let me see what, what the regular scene, the regular rap scene, the secular rap scene. Let me see what that's doing. So I was fortunate enough that when I was, listening in my Christian rap phase, that I totally was able to bypass what is, roundly looked at as the worst genre, the worst, era of music, the snap era, where everybody was white tees and snapping and all that. I totally bypassed that, even though I was living in the South, but I wasn't listening to that. I was listening, to Christian rap. So I wasn't listening to them Franchise Boys and D4L and Lil Jon and them, So, I listened to some Lil Jon. Like when we was on deployment, I listened to, it was like Lil Jon nonstop. It was crazy. But, so I start going back to like listening to the old stuff, old Bad Boy, Biggie, start dabbling in West Coast, got in a Razzcast, the Licks, just a bunch of guys that I never given a shot to. And I was like, man, dog, it's cats out there that could really, really rap, man. Started listening to Jay-Z again. I remember when I first got the Blueprint 3, and I got it, this was Blueprint 2, and I got it early. I got a early copy, probably like 2 weeks before it came out. Man, I used to ride the bus I was going to Henry Ford Community College. I used to ride the bus with it blaring in my speakers, and we used to, like, one of the bus stops was this, like, middle school. And I remember I was listening to it one day, and every time the kids would get on the bus, I would just turn my headphones up just because I didn't want to hear them kids being loud. So I remember one day I had the music blaring out my headphones, and I did hear like these two kids behind me like, yo, that sound like Jay-Z he listened to, man. That must be that new Jay-Z. Like, oh, dog, he listening to that Jay-Z. And I can remember like smiling and nodding my head because it was like, yep, I got the juice. But, I just start getting into, different kinds of music. Like my homeboy Meech was telling me all about Drake. Like Meech was the biggest Drake fan I ever met in my life. And I was like, man, I ain't never heard of this dude, but I didn't give him a chance either until later. And I like Drake, man. I think Drake is dope. Ghostwriting rumors be danged, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Drake make hits, you know what I'm saying? I like, Views was okay. More Life is dope. You know what I'm saying? Except for the UK, the dudes, the songs with the UK rappers. But, it's kind of, so my relationship with rap has become cyclical. So as I got older, I was able to discern easily with my music choices. I wasn't as influenced by this. Like I could turn on Mobb Deep and not want to be, walk around with a scowl on my face, you know what I'm saying, in a hoodie and Timbs and 80-degree weather, want to punch somebody, you know what I'm saying. I could listen to Jay-Z and not go out and want to just sling crack because, Hove did that. So we wouldn't have to go through that. But, I could listen to weed rap, man, not just want to go roll up, But, and that all came with, getting older, I feel, and being able to discern more and, just filter out the garbage. Now that's not to say that music, didn't have a certain effect on me because I have kind of like a East Coast accent, even though I've only been to the East Coast twice. I use East Coast slang, like, son, be, But, I used to, that's one of the influence, like I used to talk with New York slang heavy because, man, I used to write poetry. So I used to like go up in my room, light some incense, turn on whatever underground rap, New York rap that I had and just write, man, for hours, feeling like I was really, feeling like I was like, yeah, man, about to put the pen to the page, be about to write these tight rhymes, son. You know what I mean, kid? And I used to, and so I adapted New York slang, and I kept it. So I don't know. That's what it is. So if you know how to listen to music and if you know how to filter out the garbage, you won't be influenced by the negativity, and you also will stay away from, the garbage that's out there, man. Like, I'm gonna get into the guys who I think are like hot garbage, but they popping, man. It's kind of like you look at the guys that's, out right now, man, and you like, and see how much love they getting. Like, really, man? I kind of feel the old heads like Pete Rock and, you know what I'm saying, all these older cats that be like, yo, man, this the garbage y'all want to pass off for rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, to me, Future ain't nothing but a Bone Thugs and Harmony knockoff. He a Busy Bone knockoff. You know what I'm saying? And he what does Future do that makes him so popular? That's the thing I don't get, man. I just don't get it. I don't get I don't get, the appeal of Young Thug. I like Lil Yachty. I don't understand how that dude is so popular. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but kids love it, man. That's the new wave nowadays, I guess, man. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of Meek Mill. You know what I'm saying? People could tell me Meek Mill got bars for days, whatever. I'm not a fan because I can't listen to him because he just yelled too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about Rick Ross, but I'm not a Rick Ross fan. Ross can rap, but I don't know what it is. I've never been a Lil Wayne fan, and Meech used to, man, Meech and Orlando, we used to all, LeBron too, we used to all just be riding around and, that's when Juvenile came out, Cash Money taking over for the 99 and 2000, once 400 Degrees came out, Meech was like, oh man, I'm into this Cash Money, so I got to go get all their albums. And when I say all their albums, he went back and got like all their albums, the BG album, the BG's album with BG and Lil Wayne, the Big Timers, you know what I'm saying, Juvenile first albums, you know what I'm saying, even got Turk. And I'm like, man, come on, dog, this is garbage. Like my boy Mark used to pull up, you know what I'm saying, I used to carpool with him to work in the morning when we was in the Navy. And Mark I love Mark like a brother. And I really appreciate Mark's taste in music. But he used to pull up to my house at 5 a.m, bumping the hottest of the hot garbage. And I'd be like, bruh, really, man, this fire, man. You know, I'm like, dog, this ain't it. This not the wave I'ma ride. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, time to wind this down. So I'm gonna, get y'all to my top 5 favorite MCs. And look, disclaimer, not who I think are the top 5 greatest MCs, because that's a totally different list. This is just my opinion on my favorite rappers of all time. All right, so at the top of the list, you got Nas. Nas, the way Nas is able to tell stories, man, is just, I think, in hip-hop is unparalleled. And he's had me since Illmatic. Say what you want about his ear for beats. The production that he chooses for some of his songs. Nas, to me, is one of the GOATs. He is in my top 3 favorite MCs, man. Now, just because he is, like if you go and listen to all of Illmatic, it's, man, the stories he tell on that, man. And even when you hear his first ever verse on Live at the Barbecue, that verse is crazy, man. I mean, so, second on the list, man, I got Black Thought. I love the Roots. I even, love the Roots when they went through their, little rap rock hybrid phase with Phrenology. I bought that first day it came out because Black Thought could spit. BET Awards be having those ciphers and stuff like that. So what is it, like maybe 5 years ago, one of the last ciphers was him, Eminem and Mos Def. Black Thought torched both of them. Look, dog, the way Black Thought just, like, you put on the beat and Black Thought just goes and goes. It's just crazy, man. So Black Thought's on the list, number 2. Number 3, LL Cool J, man. Ladies Love Cool James is on my list for my top 5 favorite MCs. And the reason why is because he could make a song that was super hard, make you want to thug it out in the club. Then at the next moment, you hear I Need Love or Around the Way Girl, be like, yo, I want shorty over there, and I'm going to come rap to her like that, lick my lips, you know what I'm saying, hit her with the kiss and the peace sign, and, you know what, I'll be honest, the fact that he started acting in the 90s, and I liked him as an actor, especially like In the House was one of my favorite shows I remember when I was a teenager, so that was probably, I used to wear my pants like him, you know what I'm saying, wear hats all the time like he did, so that's part of it, but I'll be honest, his later projects was on the whacker side of things, but man, overall, man, if you look at LL's whole catalog, I think he's done enough to be mentioned up there with the GOATs, you know what I'm saying, 4, 3, 2, 1, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the best posse cuts of all time, but because that's the shots that him and Cannabis was firing back and forth, but LL's on my list at number 3, man. Number 4, Big. Man, Biggie told story. I think the way on a storytelling level, the only person up there with Biggie is Nas when it comes to telling stories. Because if you look at Ready to Die, man, like, I got a story to tell. Not Ready to Die, but Life After Death. Just put on I Got a Story to Tell and listen to that. And it's like, dang, man, like he tells you a story in the song. And then at the end of the song, he tells the same story back again. And it's like, yo, man, that's so dope, man. So Biggie Small, the way Biggie was able to, the way he killed Notorious Thugs, you know, he out rapped Bone Thugs and Harmony on a Bone Thugs and Harmony type beat, you know what I'm saying? So he went to their arena and killed it. You know, going back to Cali, Hypnotize, all that, man. I mean, his verse on All About the Benjamins is probably one of his best verses. And I know that verse by heart. I ain't gonna rap it because I ain't got the instrumentals right now, but you know, I ain't gonna rap it. So Biggie Smalls is number 4 on the list. And number 5, and probably gonna be the most controversial on the list, Mace. That's right, Mace. M-A$E. I was murdered. P. Diddy made me pretty. I did it for the money. Now can you get with me? Mace is one of my top 5 favorite rappers of all time. I don't know what it is about Mace. Maybe because I was just like caught up in the shine of the shiny suit era. Mace is one of my favorite. You know, I put Harlem World as a classic album. Harlem World is a classic album. Not when it was a group, but Mace's first album, Harlem World, is a classic album. I mean, from Can't Nobody Hold Me Down to all of Mace joints. Even on I like it, you know, with the group Harlem World, man. His verse was like, you know, and he was, you know, doing this little dance, and everybody had on the shiny suits, man. Had whatchamacallit getting shot out of a cannon. But yeah, man, Mace is up there, and it's funny because I was talking to Meech a couple months ago, and his wife asked us, because his wife is into hip hop, and she was like, "Yo, who was y'all favorite rappers?" And she was surprised when both of us named Mace. And I was like, man, I don't know what it is about Mace. I get because he smooth, delivery was like on point and everything. If you listen to Jealous Guys, you know, they remix of New Edition's Jealous Girls with him and Puffy. Now would you be mad if I gave back your girl? I mean, it was just like stuff like that, man, where I just liked Mace, and I can't describe it to you. I just thought Mace was dope, and then I thought Double Up was dope too. It wasn't as good as, you know, Harlem World, but I thought it was dope too. I even bought his Welcome Back album when, you know, he came back, you know, after preaching, and I really bought it because that's at the time when I was really into Christian rap, and I thought it was going to be a Christian rap album, which it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He still had a party joint on there with Breathe, Stretch, Shake, you know what I'm saying? And then Welcome Back was a typical Mace song, but that was pretty much it, you know. But those are my top 5 MCs, my top 5 favorite MCs of all time. So to run it back, got Nas, got Black Thought, got LL Cool J, got Biggie Smalls, and I got Mace. So let's fight this out on my Facebook page. I dropped the question on Facebook, you know. Well, I dropped a description on the show on Facebook. Tell me who y'all 5 favorite MCs of all time is. Let's debate. You know, just because I like debating rap music is one of the things I like doing, along with sports and, you know, especially hoops. But, you know, I love rap. It's my favorite form of music. My favorite genre of music. And let's be honest. I know everybody out there done seen that little country trap song that just, you know, been all over the internet the last week or so. What is today? This is Tuesday, April 11th, 2017. That joint is kind of fire. It is. But you know what? Before we go, I'll let you know my guilty pleasure. And we'll talk about rap on some more podcasts, because I can talk about rap a lot, you know what I'm saying? But my guilty pleasure, man, even though I know how whack some of the bars he be spitting is, man, I don't listen to a lot of his music, but I listen to a verse from him here or there, and I'll be like, yo, he straight smashed that, son. 2 Chainz. Let's debate about it. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to the show today. If you want to get in touch, find me, The Black Dad Chronicles, on Facebook. It's a page I got, The Black Dad Chronicles. You can follow me on Twitter at Black Dad Chron. That's CHRON. Twitter wouldn't let me have the whole Chronicles in my Twitter handle. So, I'm on SoundCloud at The Black Dad Chronicles. I'm on Tumblr at The Black Dad Chronicles. I'm on iTunes at The Black Dad Chronicles on iTunes. Like, subscribe, share, rate, comment. Instagram at Black Dad Chronicles. I usually post a snippet of the show. And I also just post pictures of food, kids, shoes, all that. So, but anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Look for the podcast next week. Like, share, download,